They hate when you elevate. You're stacking up losses, I'm handing them out, yeah, I had to go delegate. It feel like I'm floating, I'm lost in the moment, I swear I could levitate. They never believed that I would really fly, I had to go demonstrate. I had to set them straight.
Well, hello there, great land of YouTube and all places otherwise, Facebook, Instagram, everywhere. You know, how's it all going out there, people? Welcome to the MCU'S Bleeding Edge. We're live Friday, 9/23. Geez, I was a month back. 9/23. Here to talk about She-Hulk episode 6, which is called Just Jen. So we'll be talking about and breaking down this week's episode of the Marvel Studios She-Hulk series, Attorney at Law, and be talking about all the funny intricacies that happened in this episode. So to start us off, of course, we have a great panel, and of course, my wonderful co-host here, Mr. Jeff Sloboda, Mr. aka TrueKnowledge. Welcome, Jeff.
What's up, Cyber?
Welcome. Then we also have returning, of course, is Loki's mom from the Great Podcaster Champions. Thank you for coming. How are you tonight, Loki's mom?
Oh, I'm doing really well. Looking forward to doing the show.
Awesome. And we also have returning Mr. Bobby P. Welcome, Bobby.
How you doing?
Good. How are you, sir?
I'm doing excellent.
All right, so to get us started in this episode, so basically it starts off, of course, it gives us a little recap of what happened in the last previous episodes, and of course goes right into it. Basically, it starts off with Jen being invited to a wedding of some person that she knows, and basically being invited to this wedding, she gets this like box thing. It has a card in it, and it like blows confetti all over the place out of her in her apartment, and basically says, you're invited to my wedding. Guess what? You're going to be my bridesmaid. Yes, you are. And it kind of has like this funny kind of little thing going on. Once she opens it and the confetti falls out, it kind of pans. It goes back to the apartment again, and then her friend Nikki is there. And basically she is packing now to go to this wedding, and her and Nikki kind of have a conversation and stuff like that, which is really fun, and kind of just that banter back and forth between, best friend type of deal. And of course, Nikki's helping her pack and everything. And so once that happens, then, basically it goes right to the wedding. Jen arrives at the wedding and is in She-Hulk form. She gets out of the car. She's walking down in her dress, and she's in She-Hulk form. And she's walking, and the people are kind of all watching her walk down the walkway. And basically, as she's walking up, it kind of pans through the audience and goes to the bride. And the bride, it like sees her and is kind of like, kind of like thinking you can see something is wrong there. And as she basically finally walks up completely, and there's the two girls in front of like, oh my gosh, Jen, you look amazing. You look so awesome. I know, and that kind of stuff. And basically they're like, that's when we get that reference that we saw in the trailer several times. Man, your ass looks just fantastic. And she's like, I know. And she like kind of does a pose and stuff like that. And then the bride walks up and's like, Jen, can I talk to you for a second? It's like, I didn't want you to upshow me at my own wedding. I wanted you in Jen form, not this form, And basically we kind of have that little talk, and Jen realizes, okay, I got to be in Jen form instead of being in She-Hulk form. But she was thinking that she wanted her there to be in She-Hulk form. So that was completely the opposite. So before we move on from that, let's get everyone's thoughts on this whole beginning little section that, the intro to getting invited to the wedding, Nikki and Jen at the apartment, and then that intro to getting to the wedding. What was everyone's thoughts on that? Was there anything maybe that you saw that you found interesting or any Easter eggs or anything like that you found interesting? Started with you, Loki's mom.
Well, no, I didn't really see anything interesting in the opening scenes. I thought it was, you said just Jen's, and she sort of right off the bat breaks the fourth wall, and says this is just going to be not a She-Hulk episode or something. I'm not exactly remember what she said, but yeah, and I really feel bad for her because she finally had that really nice dress that was cut to her physique as She-Hulk, and then she has to shrink back down, and she's back in the baggy, poor little frumpy Jen mode again, and so that was kind of sad. But yeah, I could see the friend was not too happy with because, and no bride wants that. Every bride needs to be the center of attention at her own wedding, So of course I can see where her friend was, but she's a little snotty about it, Well, what do you, But it's sort of that typical. You've seen it in a lot of movies before, wedding movies and wedding TV shows. You always sort of have that dynamic going on. But yeah, I mean, otherwise, I didn't really see anything that jumped out at me that I can think of.
All right. Any other thoughts?
No, just basically, I thought it was just, there wasn't a lot of She-Hulk in the very beginning of it, and I think it kind of gets the little secondary plot gets into the next scene where it sort of picks up with the other lawyer, the not the assistant, but I can't think of her name. She had on the blue dress. It sort of gets back into that, but yeah, I mean, nothing spectacular about it. It was just a typical kind of sitcom situation episode.
That's
right.
That's Nikki Ramos, Renee. She's Walter's best friend.
I'm talking about the lawyer that is.
The one that represented her in the trial.
Yeah, who was her? Who defended her? Yeah, for her.
Yeah, I can't remember her name either.
Yeah,
I think it's Melanie.
Might be Melanie.
Mallory.
Oh, Mallory.
Mallory.
Who was
Mallory.
something?
Mallory. Yeah, we haven't got to that part yet, but yeah, Mallory. Yes, thank you. Thank you, Loki, Mom. Awesome. All right, Bobby P, your thoughts, sir, on that beginning sequence?
I thought it was all right. I was kind of disappointed that it was going to be like a filler episode, and it didn't really seem like it was going to be one that was going to advance like the entire story. Like you knew Daredevil wasn't going to be showing up on this one. I did like when I thought it was pretty funny when Jen hugged her friend and her face is like right in her boobs and she just made it like awkward as hell. I thought that was hilarious. But yeah, other than that, there wasn't really anything that really stood out to me other than really introduction. And this wasn't going to be a forwarding the story type of episode. It's probably just going to be like a filler, like a side story.
All right, awesome. Thank you. Jeff, any thoughts, sir?
Yeah, I think that's Bobby makes a good point there. That I never thought about it as like a filler episode, but I guess it kind of. I mean, I don't know if I would just use that. I mean, I think I get where he's coming from with that, and I like it. But at the same time, I don't know if I like. For me personally, I don't think I would want to call it a filler episode because when I think of like filler episodes, I think of like I'm a big Naruto Shippuden fan. Like I like anime, and like there's a lot of filler in like some of Naruto, like especially in like the ending of Shippuden, the last couple seasons, during the what's called like the Third Ninja War, there's like tons of filler episodes where you don't know what the fuck's going on. Like,
yeah, that happened in Clone Wars too. Like there was a certain amount of episodes that would be like a story arc, but then in between you get a lot of filler episodes that were just kind of about different things that weren't particular to the whole Republic War.
It was completely incoherent in Naruto. I didn't know what the hell was going on. Half the time. You know what I mean? You got to like watch. I mean, it's ridiculous. But either way, as far as the intro of the episode goes, nothing really happened in it that I can really talk about. What I actually wanted to mention was just that, as far as like what my overall, as a premise to start things off, my overall deal with the episode would just be that I'm just wondering kind of like, what their point was with it. Like what was the purpose of this as the 6th episode? Like, in terms of setting up, I'm assuming Daredevil's coming like in episode 7 or episode 8 and 9 or something. Like, you know, he's going to pop up. Maybe you're right, Bobby. Maybe a filler episode is like a good way to put it, I guess. But basically,
and from what I've been hearing is that a lot of the episodes, they sort of shuffled the order of them. Like before the series came out, like for some reason that very first episode was actually supposed to be at the end of the series, but for some reason they put it towards the front. So maybe this one was just kind of stuck in there too. So
yeah,
that's
what Jasmine was talking about on last week's episode. She actually was right about that. They did do that, but no. So basically, the opening of the episode, honestly, in the beginning, I was bored. I was like, this is kind of stupid. You know what I mean? Like, I don't really, it wasn't really doing anything for me. I enjoyed the dynamic between Jennifer and the lawyer. I like that dynamic. I like that lawyer. I do. She's great. She's very attractive. And she's been good in the series. And I enjoyed her, her time with her best friend and whatnot. I like them talking. I like their relationship. I liked some chick stuff. Like, I was a big fan of Sex and the City. I watched that as a kid. I was into that. I watched all the way through all the series, all the seasons. And I enjoyed that. I like some of the chick stuff, but no, it was just kind of I didn't know where things were going. And then it got better. But as far as like, I'm just, I guess, and we'll get more into it later as Cybers, you flush out the whole span of the episode. But I guess basically, at first I really wasn't sure where the hell the episode was going to go or what the objective of it was. I didn't know what the hell was going on or what to expect.
I kept getting I kept getting a if you've ever seen the movie Bridesmaid, which is a really good slapstick comedy. I sort of was starting to get that vibe a little bit.
No, Bridesmaids is an excellent film. Are you kidding me? I have that. I own that. That's one of the few freaking movies I actually own. I love that movie so much.
It is, yeah. It's a wonderful. It's a really funny movie, and also I think it's the last. The actress who plays Kristen Wiig's mother, golly, I can't think of her name now. That was her last. She was a really good actress. Had won an Oscar and everything, and she died of cancer right after doing that movie. So I can think of her. I'm gonna look.
She was in Silver Streak.
Yeah, she was in a lot of big movies. I'm gonna look it up. Y'all go ahead and talk about.
Jill. Jill. Her name is Jill something. Jill.
Jill Clayburgh.
There you go.
Yeah. And she's the mother of another actress that's popular right now. If I can find her children.
So while she's doing that,
Lily Rabb. She's the mother of Lily Rabb.
Nice. Just like to shout out Jocelyn in the comment section. Thank you for being in our comment section. JB as well. Jeff Bowen, thank you for being in the comments as well too. Tell them about it, Cyber. Thank you, Jeff. JB, Jocelyn, like I said, yeah. Hello to you too as well. Yeah, attention span sometimes comes into effect with it. Yes, totally understand. So yeah, most definitely. I can understand some people have that problem. It happens. And so all right. So after that introduction to the wedding, that's when it cuts back to the office because while Jen is at the wedding, Mallory is taking over her cases for her, and she just has one case that's going on. It's a divorce legality thing. Somebody's getting divorced that needs some help that's has superhuman powers. And so it goes back to them. They're there in the office covering her cases. The case is about a guy named Mr. Immortal. That's what he calls himself. And he's getting a divorce. And this character is super funny. The actor there, he's been in actually a lot of things. He's been a character in lots of movies. Absolutely love this guy. I think he's so funny. And him playing Mr. Immortal is absolutely hilarious. He basically explains that he basically can't die. He's immortal, and basically explains to them, that I'm getting divorced and I need your help with this, and basically explains, that he basically runs away every time something doesn't work in the relationship, and just basically throws himself into some situation where basically he supposedly you think he dies, but he really doesn't, because he's Mr. Immortal. He can't die. And so as they're discussing the case and stuff like that, and he explains everything and stuff like that, that's when the girls, Mallory and Nikki, start bickering between each other over him mentioning how he just runs away. And as they're bickering, he decides, I don't like this, and goes and jumps out the window and falls on top of a car. And we think he's kind of dead, but he's not. He gets up and he's fine and brushes himself off and stuff like that, which is really good. And so then after that, it goes back to the wedding again. And Jen comes in contact with Titania in this episode. So we have mentioned that earlier, that we're probably going to see more of Titania ever since that, we started seeing her again in episode 3 or 4, I should say. And then she was a predominant character in episode 5. So we get to see her again. She's at the wedding. Her and Jen come in contact. And they kind of have a little bit of a talk, like, oh, why are you doing here? This is my friend's wedding, etc., etc. And Titania's like, I'm just here as a friend of the bride's something. And, I'm not here for you. I'm here to be peaceful and stuff like that. And the whole, influencer type of attitude and stuff like that Titania has, which I really don't know why they decided to go that route with this character, because I missed the original Titania from the comics. But anyways, that was pretty funny. And so then after they have their conversation and the bride comes over and starts talking to Titania, that's when Jen walks outside, sits down, starts eating some food. And that's when she interacts with this guy that is also at the wedding that happens to be single. And then basically after they start having a conversation, and after they're having the conversation, that's when the bride comes out and goes, well, I just had a whole bunch of people just quit because they don't like how I'm being a bridezilla, and I kind of need help cleaning things up. Jen, can you help clean this stuff up? Get this stuff and then she's like, oh, can I help? The other guy is like, and she's like, yeah, you can help with this. And basically, they go and help, basically to help clean things up, basically. And so then it goes back to the office again, where the divorce proceedings are going for Mr. Immortal. And he pretends they kind of start to talk about how he has been several different people with all the different people he's been married to, because literally it looks like he's been married to 6 or 7 different people, from every types of life, women, men, all this kind of stuff. And so he starts to talk about how he's been all these different several names that are like, this is not really good. You've been lying to all these people all the time. This doesn't really look good for you in this divorce proceedings. And so he's pretended to be these several different people, and they have that conversation, and then it kind of cuts again and goes back to the wedding. And all of a sudden there's this interesting section, but we'll stop right there. We'll talk a little bit about that section. So let's talk a little bit about Mr. Immortal. So what was everyone's thoughts on this character? Did you like him? Did you hate him? What did you think of the characterization the actor brought to it? Did you feel that it added to the episode at all? And what was your total thoughts just on that that sequence, those sequences that we just went through? Introduction to Titania, introduction to that single guy, and then the introduction of Mr. Immortal and kind of what he's going on with. Starting with you, Loki's mom.
Yeah, I thought first off, he took the name Mr. Immortal. I mean, it's such a grand sounding name, and basically he's just like I guess what you'd call a lounge lizard or something. I mean, he's just out, scarfing women and men, whatever, marrying them, for whatever reason. Maybe he does fall in love with them, but I guess his shtick is that he every time he jumps out of a window or jumps in front of a bus or something, he can fake his own death and come back as somebody else. So I kind of don't blame him being able to do that. But and he seems like he's a very cheerful person, so he's quite happy with his lot. His I guess he's a mutant. The lot that's been handed to him, and but yeah, and I kind of got a little irked at what's the assistant's name?
Nikki.
I got a little irked at Nikki because she's getting all down on him and everything, and it's like, well, he probably is an absolute creep and deserves to be sued, by everybody, but that's not her job as to behave that way, toward a client. So I thought that was a little ridiculous and a little out of the, there again, it's kind of like the drunk Madison being drunk and testifying. That wouldn't happen. Of course, you wouldn't have She-Hulk either in real life, but I think it's just little things like that where they can, if they would at least ground it and make it more real, that part a little bit more realistic, I think it would help the balance of the show a little bit, because I think when they get into those courtroom scenes and the deposition and whatnot, it gets, that's where I think it really goes silly. It goes a little too silly sometimes, a little too ridiculous, and so yeah, I mean, it's comedy, and so I try to take it that way and not get too irked at it like I might in another series or something. But yeah, just like you say, so far I think I enjoyed this episode better than I did the last two. But even so, I think it's still flat. It's not really, like you say, it's filler. And other than just having fun watching Jen okay, now She-Hulk's going to do this, and now Jen's going to do that, and finally Jen finds her a guy that's interested in her, and not and it seems like she's found a really nice guy by the end of the. And of course, that's what you go to weddings for. Always, if you're a single person going to a wedding, you're hoping to find another single person there. So anyway, yeah, but that's about all I have to say about it. Yeah, but yeah, I do like Mr. Immortal, even though he's a creep.
All right, thank you. Just want to shout out Booze and Chill in the comments. Welcome, Booze and Chill. We are awesome, Booze and Chill. How are you, sir? Glad you're watching. Thanks for being in the comments. All right, so Mr. Bobby P, your thoughts, sir?
Well, I love that Mr. Immortal showed up. He's technically an Avenger, I guess, in the comics. He's a Great Lakes Avenger, I believe. And he's actually in Renee, what Renee was saying is he is a mutant, but he's like humans are Homo sapien, mutants are Homo superior. He's actually Homo supreme, which means he's like a next evolutionary step above mutants, which is interesting. And then and I love the fact that I noticed there was when he jumped out the window onto the car, there's a QR code on the car, and if you scan it, it actually gives you his first appearance in West Coast Avengers number 46, which is really cool.
Kind of like what they did with Moon Knight.
Yeah, because from what I'm hearing is they're hiding a lot of QR codes in the episodes, and that was the first one I just happened to see, because it's right on the bottom of the car. And I don't think that guy that Jen met at the wedding is on the up and up. I think there's something with that guy. He might be in league with the Wrecking Crew and whoever they're working for, which I still say is the leader. I really don't trust him for some reason. I don't think anybody's really going to be upfront with Jen when she's dating them, unless they're a superhero. So any normal person is most likely going to be a villain, I would think. But that's just my opinion. I don't trust the guy.
I don't think anybody trusts Mr. Immortal at this point.
Oh no, I'm talking about the guy that she met at the wedding.
Oh,
I don't trust that guy
really
either.
Hot guy, yeah.
Yeah, I don't trust that dude either.
Yeah. When he came up in the scene and he started talking to her, right away, I had a feeling that he has some other agenda for her, and that's why. Because
when he asked her bride or groom she said bride, and then she's like, we knew each other in high school. And then when she asked him, he was really vague about it. Like he said groom, yeah, but then he's like, it was a really weird, vague answer he gave.
Yep. It was very vague, most definitely, Bobby. Yeah, thank you for bringing up that QR code. So yeah, anybody that out there that hasn't watched the episode yet or has watched it, definitely go back and look for that QR code so we can look at that awesome first edition of Mr. Immortal. So that would be cool. Thank you for sharing that, Bobby.
No problem.
Jeff, your thoughts, sir?
Yeah, I just want to point out first of all that that I actually I can kind of understand where Mr. Immortal's coming from, because I personally actually own having erectile dysfunction with several women just because I couldn't stand them. They're fucking assholes. You know what I mean? Like, they're such an assholes that I just couldn't even deal with them. So rather than have sex with them, I just faked erectile dysfunction so they leave. You know what I'm saying? So I can understand where he's coming from. I've been there. Just a little different in my situation. Anyways, shout out Raymond. What's up, bro?
At first, I thought that Ultron was trying to take over when you were speaking there, because you were kind of cutting in and out there for a second.
Now I'm cutting out now too.
Earlier you were. You're fine now.
You're fine now.
All we could hear was man and erect.
Yep.
Oh, what I was saying was I understand where I can connect with Mr. Immortal, because I personally have actually faked erectile dysfunction several times with several women because they were such assholes. I just couldn't deal with them. I didn't want to fuck them. So, I just faked erectile dysfunction with them, to get them to leave. That's how you get rid of them quick. You know what I'm saying? At that point, so yeah, I bet I can understand.
Well, if you're not hard, how are you faking it?
Well, they don't want to hang out. I mean, I don't really have much personality going.
You're telling you got a Woody, and you're telling him to get out.
No, I experience erectile dysfunction. Like I lose my
you're
Woody.
Not faking it. You have erectile dysfunction.
And that, folks, is our PSA for erectile dysfunction.
Hey, look. Anyways, I only experience actual erectile dysfunction. Very rarely. Like I said.
Yeah, right.
But I do admit it, though, right? I told just a couple weeks ago, I flat out said to start.
Better living through chemistry.
Hey, it happens to the best of us. All right, what are you gonna do? Sometimes shit happens. You drink too much or whatever, or having a stressful day, and your shit don't work. But either way, no. But Mr. Immortal is funny as shit. And he had a goddamn excuse for everything. You know what I mean? He was the victim of every situation, no matter what. It didn't matter what the fuck was going on. He was the victim. He had a perfect logical reason for why he had to do it with every woman and everything and whatnot. The actor was freaking hilarious, and he was hilarious and shit. And it was probably one of the highlights of the whole episode. I thought it was funny as shit. I was like, you know what, that is actually really funny. It was tangibly funny.
Where he just takes that run from that window.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. It was great. I mean, I'm telling you right now, unfortunately, I don't laugh that much in general because of my TBI. I just don't laugh that much. So when I do laugh, it's rare. So I really enjoy that shit. So I know, something's got to really, really be funny to get me to laugh. So I was laughing a lot during this episode. So I'll give him credit for that part. They definitely made me laugh. The humor of the episode was great. I thought for the most part, none of it really fell flat at all. Really, it was all halfway decent. And, basically, I would agree with Renee though. Some of these scenes where they've actually done the actual lawyer stuff, where they've either been in court or they've done these sessions where they're in the office and whatnot, and they're talking to clients and shit like that and everything and all that. Some of that stuff has been hit or miss. It really has been with it and whatnot, just in terms of entertainment value for me. You know what I mean? This was a highlight though, as far as they've gone. But some of the other ones just haven't been the same way. They weren't entertaining like that. And at that point, all I'm really just going to say my only point with that is just that I'm not trying to be negative, but overall, I'm not going to lie. That part of it, they did not, I guess, literally plan out very well or whatever. Or it just really hasn't flowed for me at times. And they sold this as it was gonna be a courtroom comedy type TV show. So if anything, again, the Mr. Immortal guy is hilarious. He was great. And of course, there's not enough. There's only so much room in the MCU for so many characters. But and I'd rather personally see what's her name, our favorite from our intro from episode 4 with Wongers and everything and whatnot. What's her name?
Madison.
Madison
with 2 D's and 1 Y. That's not where it's supposed to be.
That's right. Listen, I'm sorry, but if I've got to pick between Madison and Mr. Immortal to be remain in the MCU, I'm going with Madison all day.
Oh Jesus!
All right,
She's my least favorite character so far.
Madison is fucking awesome. She saved the series, man.
Thank you, Sir Jeffrey. Thank you. All right, going back to Mr. Raymond in the comments here, Raymond, I'm sorry if I'm saying that wrong. Booze and Chill. Is it Ramon or Raymond? I can't remember.
It's Ramon.
Anyways,
Raymond.
Ramon. Okay, thank you. Great comment, sir. He said, my wife called it out when that dude at the wedding started talking to her. Yes, most definitely your wife is a genius, because that is 100% what I thought as soon as I saw him walk over, just like Bobby P was mentioning. Totally. And then, yes, Jeff did sound Robotronic, most definitely. Jocelyn, thank you for your comments. She said, power to the people, yes, and that she smokes too much. Okay, I don't think you can smoke too much. I don't think. I don't think it's possible.
Oh, I can't smoke enough.
Exactly. See, and then going back to Ramon, erectile dysfunction is funny when it's not happening to you. Lappy face, choking, laughing face. But seriously, look into that, Jeff. I agree with you, Ramon, most definitely. And then, of course, Jocelyn shared with us that she hasn't cried in 6 years since of her TBI. And just laughs and laughs now, which is, nothing wrong with laughter. I love that. Love that. That's great to laugh. And most definitely, people, most definitely. All right. So before we move on with the episode, Sir Jeff, you have the trailers for She-Hulk?
I do. Give me 1 second.
So we'll do a little break here, show you the trailers to get you all hyped more about this episode, since it was a filler episode. Totally agree with that. And just to kind of give you guys a little interesting thing to see.
Wow! Jesus, what the hell, man?
Still in control, no overwhelming feelings of rage.
No, a normal amount of rage.
You do revert back to Gen form when you sleep.
Was the air horn really necessary?
For comedy, absolutely. This is a multi-year journey you're about to embark on.
Yes.
Yeah. Who's your best friend?
Nikki.
Spandex. Spandex is your best friend. Being a Hulk asks for balance. You have so much more to learn. Yes!
So I'm clearly nailing it at all of these things.
If you want to go back to your life as a lawyer, I respect that.
He doesn't mean that.
More and more eccentric superhumans are coming out of the woodwork. We're going to launch a division for them. And I want the She-Hulk to be the face of it. Jennifer Waters. Namaste.
I have a serious conflict of interest. This man tried to kill my cousin, Bruce.
Yeah, that's quite all right.
Oh. People only care because I'm representing Emil Blonsky. I think they care because they're like, hey, that girl's great. Jen, do your thing. God, I really like this outfit. I'm not proud of this.
Miss Walters, we answer to a higher power. Our universe is on the edge of a precipice.
I am a lawyer. We do things by the book.
The Book of Ashanti.
No, the Book of American laws.
Whether you like it or not, you're now a superhero.
Let's do this. know that friend you had in high school who was way cooler than you were attractive, got all the attention from everyone? Hello.
I think I'm jealous. Is that what I'm feeling?
Awesome. All right, so that was an awesome little rewatch of that awesome trailer. That is so much fun every time to watch. I love that, especially that beginning scene where Bruce uses the blowhorn to wake up She-Hulk. I think that's absolutely hilarious. Going back to, I definitely think that we should make a petition that Wong should just become known as Wongers from now on. It's just a perfect name. And it just suits him so well. Wongers. I'm
Sorcerer Supreme Wongers is a nice ring to it.
Yes, exactly. That'll be awesome. Yes, Ramon. When the fuck are we getting Daredevil? Hopefully soon. Either the final 2 episodes or at least this next episode. Who knows? But yeah, we definitely need Daredevil, especially with that little tease at the end of that last episode. I totally get what you're saying there. But just to let you all know, the guy that played Mr. Immortal, his name is David Pascasai. And he actually has been in a whole bunch of shows. He actually was in the Book of Boba Fett as a character. He was the liaison, or the kind of like the secretary of the mayor of Tatooine. That
he was a Twi'lek, I think, right?
Yes,
the Twi'lek with the right.
Yeah, it almost looks like a jester hat.
Yeah, right.
Ramon, we are going to be getting 9 episodes of She-Hulk. 9 episodes. But yeah, he is a fantastic actor. He actually has been in a few episodes of Curb Your Enthusiasm as well. But he's the one that brought Mr. Immortal life, and I think he was fantastic as a character. Can't say enough good things about him. I think he was probably the best part of the episode, most definitely, just like Jeff had mentioned earlier. All right, so moving on with the episode. So after it cuts back from Mr. Immortal and all his exes, we go back to the wedding, and we have a small little short part where a dog is introduced. I have no idea who this dog is supposed to be, but it's supposedly something special because it has a name, and the bride wants Jen to take care of it and press its clothes and all this kind of stuff. And we have that brief little sequence, which I think that was probably my least favorite part of this episode. I just thought it was kind of wasteful in that for that. But then as soon as they show that, it goes right back to the office, where Mr. Immortal officially gets divorced. He's trying to officially get divorced, so he basically says, okay, I will split this amount of stuff with all of you, and even Steven all across the board. Let's have this proceedings be over. And so, he says that, and then the other people start, all the other exes start speaking up, like, well, I had a kid with this guy, and I was with him longer than this person, and all this stuff. And they started, like, being all like, upset and all that kind of stuff. Like, yeah, it's not even. I don't think it's even and stuff like that. And so they all start, like, bickering and stuff amongst each other. So then after that happens, we go back to the wedding again. And basically it's kind of just like another like little interlude of a little bit of wedding stuff going on. Then it goes back to the office again. Nikki's on top of the table saying, okay, you get this, that, you get that, la-da-da, and stuff like that. And basically, divides everything how they all want it to be to get this divorce finalized. And after that, then we go back to the wedding again. And that's when Joss and Jen, that's the name of the guy that we suspect to be some evil person, they're both sitting and they're drinking, and Jen's been drinking and stuff like that. And they're talking a little bit, and then all of a sudden she goes, uh-oh. And then all of a sudden it pans out to her being outside and throwing up. And as she's throwing up, somebody comes behind her and starts patting her on the back and like, it's okay. And then all of a sudden sucker punches her, and it's Titania, and she sucker punches her. And basically then her and Titania have like this all out basically brawl. And it wasn't a huge brawl, but I mean, it was a little bit of fighting between the two. But at first, Jen kind of had a hard time transforming into She-Hulk a little bit. She was having a little hard time because she's so drunk. And we get that kind of funny moment. She's like, okay, nothing. She's like, I'm having a hard time changing. She's like, and Titania's like, basically like, this is pathetic. I want to fight She-Hulk and stuff like that. I want, this fight to happen. And she's like, okay, hold on. And she kind of like it goes to her eye, and then all of a sudden, boom, she's She-Hulk finally. And like I said, they have their little brawl. They go inside as they're fighting, and they're brawling out and stuff like that. And basically, She-Hulk like hits her once, really, basically again, just like in the courtroom. And she goes flying back, and she's about to charge after her. And then she slips on some liquid that's on the floor, and it breaks all of her veneers. And she gets back up and is like, oh, my veneers, I got to get them fixed. And then basically runs away. And that's when the bride walks in, and Jen's kind of like, oh, crap. And like, oh, I'm sorry, whatever the bride's name is. And she seems to be drunk. She's like, oh my God, She-Hulk's at my wedding. And like hugs She-Hulk. And like, basically it's all good. And so basically we'll stop there. So that little section of the episode, what were your guys' thoughts? I think, out of this episode, I think that the She-Hulk Titania knockdown was a little okay. It was, brought the episode up a little bit. And I thought that it wasn't too shabby. I thought definitely the CGI in this episode was a lot better on She-Hulk versus what we've seen in previous episodes too. And I thought that the battle wasn't too bad. And I love what happened to Titania. I think it's absolutely hilarious. But what are your guys' thoughts? Was there anything particular that you enjoyed or disliked? And just overall your thoughts on that little section of the episode, starting with you, Loki's mom.
Yeah, I'll agree. The actor, however you pronounce it, David Pasquesi. Yeah, and when you jog my memory a little bit, yeah, I have seen him in a lot of TV shows and a lot of things. He's just one of those kind of like background characters that just has little small parts, pops out here and there. But yeah, hopefully maybe Mr. Immortal will be a future character or something, have a little bit more heft to it. He's like you say, he's hilarious. He's really funny, and he could be a great asset. It's just your ability to never be killed for any future wars that we're going to have. But then I think it does finally does pick up there toward that last sort of third of the episode where finally we get She-Hulk comes back and Titania the biatch, and like I say, just sucker punches her and just low down, and you sort of see a little bit like you said where she's like drunk and she's having a little bit of problems getting the Hulk into her or get the Hulk to come out. And so maybe the whole thing that's from the beginning was right off the bat she had control of her Hulk, unlike David, who just had to just struggle to get control. And maybe she's going to start having trouble having a little bit more control over it. And I think that might be an interesting dynamic if Jen Walters continues on, which I think she will, and some other, particularly in the Daredevil. Maybe we get to see a little more serious side of her, not this slapstick comedy. And I hope maybe that's the direction they're going to go.
Thank you, Bobby P. Your thoughts, sir?
I like the fight. I thought it was really interesting. Titania sort of really laid out her motives about how she thought that Jen had her power and she didn't want it and she didn't really deserve it. That's actually dialogue from one of their fights in the comics, which I thought was good that they lifted right from that. But I thought it like kind of developed her character like slightly more to show her like her motivations a little better. of how she's like, she really is obsessed with her because she's just jealous of her because she feels like she got her power undeserved. And I don't know if her background is like it is in the comics, where Titania used to be like this scrawny little girl and just kind of got like I think Dr. Doom gave her powers and she sort of became like this super powered, like had like a physique and everything. And she was always like made fun of. So she like felt that she deserved power, and like the fact that she feels that Jen didn't. I thought that was pretty interesting that they kept that from the comics. I like that.
Awesome. Thank you. Jeff, your thoughts, sir? We can't hear you, Jeff.
I'm not very good at muting sometimes. No, I was going to say I agree with Bobby. You nailed it. Everything you said about her is completely true. We talked about it last episode. She does in the comics get her. She really gets her powers, like her real power set from Dr. Doom. She already has powers, like she already has super strength and shit. But then Dr. Doom really like beefs her up. You know what I mean? And like gets her like really jacks her up. But that's like, you know, right before Secret Wars and whatnot and shit and whatnot. And you're right. Like she was like, you know, pressured and whatnot, and like, you know, and like I guess bullied and stuff a lot when she was younger. But no, basically, the Titania and She-Hulk fight, I don't know. I thought it was pretty cool. I like the dynamic of her starting off fighting like the Jen, you know, side of her first and whatnot, and how Jen was kind of just rolling with it and like laughing and shit and being like, "Nah, I'm not turning She-Hulk. Like I'm just gonna fight you as, you know, as Jen or whatever." Well, I thought that was actually pretty cool.
And she can take a punch. She can take a punch even when she's in her Jen form.
Well, she had that like drunk as shit, you know, like like invulnerability. You know what I'm saying? Like I've been there before. You know what I mean? Like you'd be surprised the shit you can actually do.
The beer muscles.
Oh yeah, I've gotten all fucked up when I've been drunk before, man. And like woke up the next day, I'm like really hurting by the next day. I've seen dudes be drunk and like punch their hands through windows and shit and whatnot, and like exposed bone and what they're like laughing and shit. You know what I mean? Like, you know. But anyways, but no, you called it, Cyber. The CGI was good on She-Hulk. She flew she was very fluid in all when she fought Titania. Very fluid. It all looked good. It all looked very natural. It looked very cinematic, like level, like grade, like, you know, like quality CGI and like and everything and whatnot. And the action was good too. You know, and basically, again though, like they're not really being accurate at all with like Titania, like as far as what she can do and how she can fight and shit, and whatnot, and how powerful she is, because she's like almost like literally at the same, like if not the same level of, they're almost not even really displaying She-Hulk's true, like again, but she's young and she's like her infancy as She-Hulk, because in the I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not an expert of She-Hulk in the comics. I know a little bit, and you know, maybe more than most, but in the comics, she's really freaking powerful. She's a Hulk, you know, like she can do some pretty intense shit. They're really kind of, again, I understand, you know, it's the Titania's entrance into the, you know, the MCU. It's the infancy of She-Hulk. She's just starting off. She's kind of learning and whatnot, but even the way they're displaying her power like levels is not accurate in terms of, to me anyways, in terms of the comics, as far as what she can do. Because I mean, when she was an Avenger and shit, she was a heavy hitter. You know what I mean? Like, you know, she would tangle with like really hardcore like villains that were like, you know, really super, like really powerful and whatnot on her own and shit and whatnot. She's a Hulk, you know, like, I mean, she's not the Hulk, but she's got those same capabilities, you know, to like rage out and like straight up, you know, destroy, you know, crack planets and shit and whatnot type power. So if anything, you know, I just wish, I'm not picking them. I'm not trying to pick apart the comic book accuracy level. I don't like to get into all that. I don't think it's necessary to go in that direction. I think that if anything, I won't lie though. I haven't enjoyed how they've handled Titania at all during the entire series. I really haven't. I don't think that they've used her accurately. Like, you know, in a way, they've almost made her into a clown. By the end of the series, she's going to be a joke. Like, I don't even see why the hell you would even keep her around in the MCU at that point. To be honest with you, I mean, you know, unless she's going to be the butt of jokes or some shit, and get knocked out all the time. Like, I mean, that's not very entertaining. You know, but either way, I think that overall, though, again, for it being a short fight scene, a good short action scene, I liked it. I liked it when She-Hulk punched Titania in the face and they slow motioned it and shit, and you watched her like head spin and all
that was
that.
a good shot.
Yeah, I like that. I do. You know what I'm saying? I think it's interesting because like for the
It's like
actors,
a page out of the comics or something.
yeah, and if you're an actor or an actress, and when they do that with you, you don't look very good in that situation. You look like an asshole. You know what I mean? Like, you know, like seriously. So you're really putting yourself in a vulnerable position at that point when they start doing shit like that with you. But it was cool. It was a good effect, and the whole wedding vibe in general for me, it was. I guess it was all right. I mean, the theme itself, that decided to go in that direction. It's interesting, but I don't know, the interactions with the bride and Jen and She-Hulk and whatnot, they didn't really do much for me. I won't lie. Like I really wasn't all into all that. I didn't think it was all that funny or entertaining, really. You know, I do like the whole effect of how realistic it is from where things are at societally right now and culturally, to where whenever anything happens, people pull out cell phones and shit and like cameras and whatnot and start videotaping everything. You know what I mean? Like, that kind of stuff is very accurate of like how stuff really is. So yeah, I mean, overall, the Mr. Immortal trial thing and whatnot with the wives was funny as shit. Like how it all flushed out, like the reality of like after all his bullshit, like actually hearing from the wives and like and how he screwed them all over and whatnot. Like he like straight up like dipped out one of his kids and shit. Then he raised one of his kids, used a suicide for that. And that's some pretty low shit, man. You know what I'm saying? I mean, seriously, I'm sorry, but like at that point, I really can't respect Mr. Immortal when he's like straight up a deadbeat dad and shit. Sorry, unfortunately, sorry, Mr. Immortal. But it was funny though. For the comedic effect, it was very hilarious. It really was. And watching the freaking wives like fight against each other and shit, fight amongst each other about who got screwed over worse and whatnot by Mr. Immortal was also hilarious to me. I found that like seriously funny as shit. I really did. That was a good addition. So again, overall, for the most part, very entertaining. I certainly did enjoy the episode. It wasn't exactly for what it was for a filler episode, like Bobby said. It was definitely an A+ filler episode.
Thank you, Jeffrey. And you're a filler episode, I feel, too. Anyways, go back into Ramon over here in the comment section. He said they should have just set Mr. Immortal for Thanos in Infinity War. He would have stuck around for a few years, but Mr. Immortal would have definitely lowered his pride and his self-esteem that he would have just, handed the Avengers the Infinity Stones, which I think is absolutely a fantastic point, Ramon. I think that's absolutely hilarious. That would have worked. I think it. Thanos would have just been like, I can't kill you. What the heck? So yeah, here, have the stones. Give them to the Avengers. I think it's really awesome. And yes, it was cool, the fight with Titania and She-Hulk, most definitely. Shout out to Facebook Dollface in the comments. Hi, Liz. And then he's like, then she's like, these stars are for cyber only. Oh, thank you. Thank you. And all right, so all great answers. Thank you, people. Thank you. And so basically kind of running up this episode, it's pretty much the end portion of this episode. We'll get right into that. Basically what ends up happening is after the fight, we go back to the office. Mallory and Nikki are there and they're kind of talking and looking on the web. And Mallory points out there's a website on the computer. So they both look at the website. And as they're looking through it, there's a website that's like all against She-Hulk. And basically, saying, she's bad, she sucks, and all this kind of stuff, and all that kind of things. And why do I hear myself? Jeffrey?
I don't hear it.
Yeah, I don't hear anything either.
Yeah, I was hearing myself. Anyways, so basically, like, Nikki's like, I gotta tell, Jen about this. And Mallory's like, no, don't tell her. That'll just cause her stress and all this kind of stuff. Just don't tell her, and we'll figure this out later on. So after that, that's when it pops to Nikki in her car driving, and she's leaving Jen a voicemail saying, talking about this site and everything. And, all that kind of stuff, and just being hilarious and that kind of funny stuff, like, just to let you know, and calling and stuff like that was absolutely hilarious and fun. And I just like how she like, and okay, just so give me a call back when you get this, was really funny. And basically, then it goes back to Jen and Josh. They're eating fries and having a conversation and stuff like that. And basically, kind of like, oh, he likes me kind of deal and stuff like that. And they're getting along and all that kind of stuff. And then that's when it cuts to the final scene of the episode, where all of a sudden it pops onto a computer and it shows it. And it's that same website. And it pans back and it shows somebody, typing on it and doing stuff to it. And then all of a sudden you see a lab in the background. And you see this lab, and it pans over, and somebody's taking some vial things and putting them into this case, and closes the case, and it shows like a radioactive symbol on the top of it for, radioactive material. And then it ends. And then we have the really hilarious like credits. It goes through the credits. You see some funny like cartoon drawings and stuff like that. One of Titania. And her teeth and stuff, which was really hilarious. And basically, that's the end of the episode. So, let's talk about the final portion of this episode. What were your final thoughts on the end of the episode, these final scenes? And what do you think about what's going on with that very final scene where it shows that lab and the people typing on the stuff? And then, was there anything you noticed in the credits that you found funny or hilarious, or that you thought maybe somebody didn't see, or something like that? Go from there. Starting with you, Loki's mom.
Let's start with the little credit scene. I think the one that jumped out at me was the one you mentioned, where she's in the dentist chair, getting it, and her teeth did when she hit that. She came up and she had all these gaps in her teeth, and she had really gnarly looking teeth in real life. So hopefully she gets her teeth back to looking beautiful. The whole the website and all that, and then it kind of that one brief little scene, and I never thought, and Rob Bobby brought it up. So he may be more than just a cute guy. That she's met, she's finally met somebody. That I was sort of hoping that way. So there may be something sinister up there. And then it goes back into the lab scene, and so what's going on with that? So maybe this is where it's finally, like I was talking about, where it's going to get more into a more serious mode to sort of round out the series. Maybe this is where it's going to go, and hopefully all these threads, the wrecking crew, the whoever it is that they're working for, the whoever the demon guy is that the magic Donnie Glazer or whatever Blaze, whatever his name is,
Donnie Blaze.
Sorry,
Donnie Blaze.
Donnie Blaze that they're referencing. So I think there's a lot of things that need to start coming together, and Daredevil. Hopefully he's going to start showing up pretty soon, so like I said, the whole last third of the and it's only 30 minutes, so it's like 10 or 12 minutes of the episode there where it really got very interesting, and I'm looking forward to next week's episode.
Thank you, Bobby. Your thoughts, sir?
Actually, two thoughts. The website is called Intelligentsia, and that's actually a group of like mad scientist type of villains. The membership included General Ross, also known as the Red Hulk. The Red She-Hulk was in there at one point, MODOK, and my conspiracy theory favorite, the Leader, started that group with MODOK. So maybe this is another link to the Leader. And the second thing, the syringe that they showed going into the little case, I'm wondering if that's going to be made out of vibranium, because when she was on the date with that creepy guy, he said, "Can your skin be penetrated even by vibranium?" And she thought he was joking around. She's like, "Why, you got some?" And he's like, "I wish." So I'm wondering if maybe that dude as well has some ulterior motive, because that could be a vibranium syringe that they showed. But yeah, the intelligentsia is what I don't know if it's going to be turning out to be like a supervillain group, but that's what it's a reference to. From
Well,
the
it looks
comics.
like they're trying to get some of her blood.
Yeah, because the leader, that's all he was about when in the first Hulk movie, he was always trying to get Bruce Banner's blood. So it makes sense that he's still trying to get it, but this time from Jen.
Very true. Very true. Yeah, most definitely that could be the case. I mean, definitely know that it's to get something from She-Hulk. We know that that's a definite plus. It's just that mystery. You're like, ooh,
Right.
like, is it gonna be that way? You know, is it something else? Or are they going after somebody that else has like that type of deal? So you never know. So I think that, but definitely, yeah, intelligentsia, most definitely, all that information about the group basically that leads kind of into the Thunderbolts eventually down the road.
Yeah.
So that's a great point.
Because in the Thunderbolts, because basically in the first Hulk movie, the reason he became the Hulk was because they were trying to duplicate the super soldier serum. And in Winter Soldier and the Falcon, that's all they were talking about was a new super soldier serum that doesn't change your physique. You actually stay as you are, but you become super strong. Maybe that's why the leader will show up in Captain America 4, because it'll be dealing with that same stuff.
Yep. Very much so. Yeah, totally.
Yeah,
I think that is going to link.
Cyber, if you don't mind me jumping in real quick, I think that's a good point.
I so
from
mind.
Bobby. No, I think that's a good point. And you know what? I like this. I like the super soldier serum angle. I hope that they keep that around. Like I want to see that injected into the Captain America 4 film. I do. And I would just point out, I put on Google today at one point for a minute just to look at what was going on in the MCU news. The first two stories I saw, the first one said that Anthony Mackie was out as Captain America in Captain America 4. They'd found another actor to play him or whatnot. And I'm like, what the frig? I'm like, what did I miss that? And then the other one was said that Black Panther 2, Wakanda Forever, is not even going to be in trailers. They've already canceled it and whatnot or whatever. It's not even going to come out. And I'm like, what the frig's going on here? But obviously it's a bunch of bullshit.
I know they had something with something in the movie that they couldn't release it in some country like France, or I can't remember what exact country. That's what I had heard about it being canceled, like in certain countries because of something that was in the trailer. But overall, I don't think they would cancel it overall, like worldwide.
No.
Oh no, it's not. No, it's just there's a couple countries that, of course, censorship because of either same-sex marriage or same-sex type of deals. That's some countries just don't allow it. So I think one of the countries, that's the reason why they're just not going to show it. Plus, also, there was an article that said also because of the France one actually was because of Disney Plus. And that's right. Like they wouldn't be streaming there for some reason. Yeah, the streaming they only have a certain window that you can allow for something to be in theaters to streaming, and because of that, Disney wanted to put it up quicker than what that window was. That's why they were given a hard time releasing it. Okay, so that was what that was about. Gotcha. But I just want to shout out to Joey, Mr. Rent, in the comments there. He is Mr. Facebook user that's popping up on our end. So, Joey, you're a Facebook user on here, but we know it's you. I looked you up. It is you. Yes, She-Hulk, awesome chick flick. Most definitely, yes. Or she-flick, as you said. Yes, most definitely. Anyways, Jeff. So, Jeffrey, your final thoughts, sir.
Well, I mean, honestly, I don't really have that much, to offer. I mean, everybody pretty much, talked about, what transpired and whatnot and everything. I think Bobby had some good points. I think Renee had some good points. I'm sure you probably have some your own opinion, stuff that you have to say, Cyber. All I can honestly say is just again, at this point, I guess the only thing I'd rather kind of just throw in kind of just a side thing. I've been talking to, to a couple of people the last couple of days. I talked to Mark Rutledge. I talked to Andrew from Geek News Now Network. Danny J over at DBJ Productions and whatnot about basically they're just talking about Moon Knight, talking about Ms. Marvel, talking about She-Hulk, you know what I mean? And in general, honestly, I thought She-Hulk was gonna be really good. I did. And hey, we still got 3 episodes left to go. It's been pretty solid. But I got to be honest with you, man. By the end of the year, I may have a feeling that I may end declaring that Miss Marvel. I think Miss Marvel might have been the best series that's going to have come out this year. I'll put it out there right now. I'm calling it right now. I think Miss Marvel might end up being the best fucking series we got, and I think that's really interesting because that, I mean, you know, when I reached out to creators to come out and do the reviews with us for those episodes, they didn't even want to watch it. Like, I'm not coming on. I'm not even gonna watch that shit, dude. You kidding me? You know what I'm saying? I'm not watching that crap. You know, like, you know, I mean, I'll tell you right now, I know a couple of people, you know, on different on Facebook and shit, whatnot, that don't make that, you know, don't really make content, but they run Facebook groups and stuff like that, like big ones that have pages and whatnot where they talk about Marvel and the fandom shit and whatnot, and that they're really into the comic books. They can't stand Miss Marvel. You know what I'm saying? At all as a character. But my only point with this is just that overall, I think that in terms of where we're at episode 6, you know, with 3 left and whatnot, as of right now, I'm entertained. It's been a pretty solid series. I mean, it's been pretty consistent. There really hasn't been any real drop-offs from episode to episode, so I'll give him credit for that. Tatiana Maslany has been solid, but not impressive to me. She's not blowing me away. You know, and I'll tell you right now, they better drop Daredevil in this bitch pretty quick, like Raymond said. You know what I'm saying? And get him in there, man, because you know, I mean, at this point, if they want to outdo Miss Marvel, they're gonna need some Daredevil Matt Murdock action. You know what I'm saying? Either that or, like, you know, just throw me up in that bitch real quick for a minute, you know, and let me just beat up on She-Hulk real quick and whatnot. You know, we could put that in an episode. Maybe that might spike things up. But besides that, I mean, you know, anyways, no, good episode. Love the freaking love the credits. You know, the whole the courtroom stenographer, you know, courtroom drawings deal or whatever. I love it. Marvel Studios always does a great job with the end credits. I think with the you know, they're always well done with these series. They've gotten better and better with them. You know, as they've gone on, they're getting better and better. Yeah, wonderful. I mean, if I had to put it out there right now, I'd say probably for episode 6, I'd give it a solid at least 7.5.
All right, awesome. Let's go around the table. Loki's mom, what would you give a rating for the episode?
Well, I've been kind of giving it 6s for the last few episodes, but I'm going to pump it up to a 7. I think it like I say, I hope it really looked like it was picking up, and I'll agree with you on the CGI because I didn't notice it, and you know, when you know, I've noticed it in some of the other episodes, particularly in the courtroom, where it almost looks like she's sort of just gliding and she's not really walking. But yeah, it didn't even dawn on me that any of that was going on in this episode till you mentioned it, Cyber, that how clean it was. So yeah, so that was a big plus right there. And a little shout out to cousin Chad, the DJ for the event. And if you notice, he put Hulk on the end of his DJ name. So anyway.
Yep. Thank you for bringing that up. That's great. Thank you for bringing that up. Great. Awesome. Bobby, your rating, sir.
I'd have to agree. I'd give it like a solid 7. Like the episode overall was probably a 5. Mr. Immortal bumps it up a 1. And then that end scene where it looks like they're finally getting to the real story gives me another point. So I'd say a solid 7. It was kind of a weaker episode in my opinion, but it had its good points.
Excellent. Thank you. And my rating, I would actually have to give it only a 6. This was actually my least favorite episode of the 6 so far. So it definitely being a filler episode, sometimes there was good points to it. There was the fight sequence I enjoyed. I thought that the whole dichotomy between Jen and this Josh guy was funny. The whole Mr. Immortal thing was absolutely fantastic. So I give it a solid 6 out of 10. About the halfway point, I feel, around 5, 6, but I give it a 6 because of those great actors and those great scenes there overall. But yeah, definitely my least favorite of the 6 episodes so far, because I feel the first 5 were phenomenal. They were all great and fun. So I really enjoyed them. So that is the end of that episode. So to close out this show, we're going to talk a little bit about the Andor trailer for the Andor TV series from Star Wars that just got released on Disney+. And we're going to share that trailer with you guys. So, Jeff, when you have it ready, we go for it.
To steal from the Empire? To just walk in like you belong? They're so proud of themselves. So fat and satisfied. They can't imagine that someone like me would ever get inside their house. Cassian Andor. The Empire is choking us so slowly. We're starting not to notice. What I'm asking is this. Wouldn't you rather give it all to something real? I need all the heroes I can get.
For the greater good.
Call it what you will.
Let's call it war.
There's fermenting out there, son. Pockets of fermenting. You're in my net. Are you a fish? Or are you a thief? You're slipping. I'm not slipping. I've just been hiding for too long. As long as everyone thinks I'm an irritation, there's a good chance they'll miss what I'm really doing.
What are you really doing?
This is what revolution looks like.
I'm tired of losing.
Oh shit, that was pretty damn good.
Yeah. All right, so that was the Andor trailer for you folks. The first 3 episodes have already dropped. They dropped yesterday on Disney Plus. And if you're not familiar with what Andor is out, basically it's about that character Andor, who we saw in Rogue One. That was basically the prequel film to the first Star Wars film when they were trying to get the Death Star layout so that they could find out its weakness and destroy it. And so this is actually the story of Cassian Andor, kind of all of what he went through leading up to him eventually becoming a part of that crew and trying to destroy the Death Star and get the plans for it to destroy it. This is a solid trailer. I've seen it a couple times now, and I think it looks really good. I know a lot of people have been jonesing for this, since they started talking about it. And overall, I think so far that from this trailer, it just looks like it's got a lot of great action. It's going to give you a lot of great information. And it's going to be interesting to just see who Cassian Andor is as well. I actually haven't watched any of the episodes yet, but definitely on my list to watch. It's going to be interesting to see. So just going around the table, what is everyone's thoughts on this trailer? Was there anything that excited you or anything that caught your eye? And do you have any interest in this Star Wars story? Starting with you, Loki's mom.
Well, I mean, the trailer itself was well done. It had really a cinematic quality, and I think this is what an 8-episode series, I believe. And they haven't done too well with the series. Honestly, other than the Mandalorian, I thought those 2 seasons were well done. I haven't been too fond of any of the others, but who knows? This one might be really well done, and it's got all the right stuff in it. I love spaceships and robots and all that, and of course, I guess it has Skeleton Skarsgård is in it, and then I saw who was he? The actor. He was also in the Black Panther movies. Anyway.
Forrest Whitaker.
Forrest Whitaker, thank you. Forrest Whitaker. We saw a little bit of him in it. So yeah, and I'm gonna have to go back and watch Rogue One. So So you're saying that this is a prequel to Rogue One?
I believe
Correct.
It's five years before Rogue One.
Okay, I got it. Okay, so I know I remember so he's like the star pilot or whatever that sort of comes into the. Anyway, never mind. I'll have to go back and look at it again. So yeah, I'm
Jeff,
thumbs up on the trailer. Anyway, it was well done.
thank you. You are making so much noise over there, sir.
Am I really?
Loki's mom is trying to talk here, sir.
What are I doing?
You're banging all around and stuff.
I'm sorry about that. I apologize. I gotta mute myself more.
Anyways,
it's my freaking microphone, man. My microphone is really sensitive.
We know. It's all good. We're just letting you know that you're making a lot of noise. Giving you a hard time too as well. It's just so much fun. Anyways, was there anything else, Loki's mom?
No, like I said, it was just well done. Yeah, I thought it looked real crisp. I mean, I liked how the contrast in the uniforms and whatnot. You saw the stark white, and then you see her back to the rebel, the rebel-y like everything. Whatever you call it, I don't know. I just didn't like. Boba Fett just burned me so bad. I don't know. When they said I need a lot of heroes, I said, "Oh, here we go again."
So as you can see, folks, Loki's mom hasn't been too big of a fan of the Star Wars stuff that Disney has brought out. So that's basically what she's saying. All right.
Yeah,
Bobby.
And it's a shame too because I loved Star Wars, the original Star Wars movies, particularly the first three. That was wound up being the middle three or something. I don't know how it turned out, but anyway.
Yes, New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi are supposed to be 4, 5, and 6. Yes, that is correct. All right, Bobby P, your thoughts, sir?
Well, I'm really excited for this series because Rogue One is probably my second favorite Star Wars movie after Empire Strikes Back. I really loved all the characters. Like I love that Andor's coming back. I hope we see K2SO at some point because he was my favorite droid out of pretty much all the droids in Star Wars, just because of his smart ass attitude. And I love seeing Saw Gerrera back. He's one of my favorite characters. I love Forrest Whitaker as Saw Gerrera. His appearances his brief appearances in the Clone Wars really set up his character and what he lost in this whole war with the Republic and the Empire. And I just really I love Saw Gerrera. I like that he's going to be in this because he's like a little more extremist than the rebels are. So he's more of a man of action, which I always liked about him. And I don't know, I'm really excited. I've kind of been putting off to watching it just because I've had other stuff I've been watching, but I'm probably going to watch it tomorrow night and just really absorb the first 3 episodes. I'm really looking forward to seeing it.
Nice. Awesome. Thank you. Jeffrey, your thoughts on the trailer, sir?
Yeah, I mean, look, it's a trailer, so I don't want to get I don't want to overdo it. I don't want to I don't want to let it, I don't want to blow it up too big because it could be not as quite as stellar as the trailer is, because it's an epic trailer. The music is epic. Stellan Skarsgård is epic and everything fucking he is. You know what I'm saying? The fact they got him in that, I didn't even know he was in it. I mean, just the fact that he's in it now, I'll watch this shit almost immediately now that I know he's in it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, just based on that, I guess, that and just the fact that Rogue One, I mean, I'm not a big Star Wars person. I'm not as knowledgeable with it as Renee or you, Cyber or Bobby. I'm just not. I didn't even watch. I only watched of the trilogy with that, Ray or whatever the fuck her name is. I watched the first movie and I didn't even watch the other two because people said it was so bad. I didn't watch it.
Yeah, you can disregard that whole trilogy.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what though, I watched Rogue One and that was a dope ass movie.
Yeah.
That shit was good as hell. You know what I'm saying? So hey, at that point right there, just for entertainment standpoint, I'm all about watching them. And if anything, we'll probably end up covering them in some way. I'm sure me and Cyber will talk and figure out how to do it. We'll do either some kind of 3-episode review show or some shit, or we'll figure out something. But I mean, you know, it's definitely it seems worth watching to me. I don't know who some of those actors and actresses are. I won't lie, but I mean, they look pretty solid to me. I'm looking at them right now, like, you know, who they are. Wasn't Diego Luna actually in in Rogue One?
Yes, he was
Yeah.
Andor.
Yeah, that's what I thought. He is Andor, yeah. So yeah, so basically, I mean, I'm looking at their names right now. Besides Stellan Skarsgård, I don't recognize any of these people. I've never heard of any of them. So I've never heard of it. But then again, you know, I'm not a huge movie person like, you know, like some other people are. But it's the trailer looks epic. Great, very, very well done trailer. You know, I mean, definitely better than the Boba Fett trailers, without question. The tone of it seems extremely serious, so I'm all about that. That's got to be good. You know, if that's the direction it's going to be, then I think that could be a good thing for Star Wars, especially like after Renee said, after Boba Fett, like we're basically like as the series went on, I just ended up laughing and cracking jokes on this shit of the episodes more and more as it went. You know, like it became like a joke fest almost. You know what I mean? And based on Boba Fett, the only good thing I got at Boba Fett is my now job as a Tusken translator. You know, helping the Tuskens out. You know, working with the Tuskens, trying to spread awareness and inclusivity. Because they're you know, people just don't have enough respect for the Tuskens, baby. Like they were the highlight of the series. Like they were the series for me. The fucking episodes with Boba Fett and the Tuskens were like the highlight of my life.
And his tank. And his Bacta tank.
Yeah, and I got my Bacta tank through Boba. I got the discount through Boba. That, hey, you know what? I mean, because of that, at that point, I've been able to manage to, like, you know, I've been able to knock out my STDs left and right and shit whenever I get rid of them. You know, Bacta tanks are great, man. You know what I mean? You know, and that's actually what I was wondering about Mr. Immortal. If you're immortal, right, and you're banging these women, how do you not get STDs at that point? Like, I mean, I get it, you can't die, but like, what about hurt? You know what I'm saying? Like, do you have like an invulnerability to STDs as well at that point, or what? Like, because, you know, I mean, you think you catch one or two, you know, throughout that time. But either way, no, great trailer, great music, very epic. All I can say is I will be let down if the tone of the actual episodes are not as serious as and epic to some degree, have that same quality of like seriousness and drama, like, you know, type of the drama, suspense of it that the trailer displays. If it doesn't connect like that at all during the episodes at all, I'll be a little bit, you know, disappointed. I will.
Yeah, I mean, from the trailer, it looks like it's going to be an interesting series. I think that it's going to have a lot of action, a lot of drama, like Rogue One had. And I believe, if I'm correct, I was reading about it, that a lot of people that worked on Rogue One worked on this too as well. So hopefully it'll have that same vibe as Rogue One did. So yeah, but yeah, definitely a great trailer. I think like I said, the series is going to be fun. Can't wait to watch it, and it's going to be really fun. We have a person in the comments here, Darius, asking, have you seen Werewolf by Night and Secret Invasion trailers? Supposed to be getting another one for Werewolf by Night with it a week and a half away. I have watched both trailers several times, and I have reviews of those trailers coming up soon on my channel. Me and Sir Jeffrey still have to do ours for it. We will have those for you guys shortly. But yeah, have you, Bobby, or have you, Renee, or Loki's mom, have either of you watched either of those trailers for the upcoming Marvel special and upcoming Marvel's miniseries that'll be happening in next year? Loki's mom, have you watched either of those?
Yes, I have watched. You're talking Secret Invasion.
Yep, Secret Invasion and Werewolf by Night.
Yeah, I've seen Secret Invasion a couple of times, and I've just seen Werewolf by Night once. Yeah, both of them. I mean, I can't wait. You know, hardly can wait for either one of them. I'm thinking the Secret Invasion. Maybe you guys can fill it in a little bit more. Now, when is this set? What's the time frame for that one?
Which one?
For Secret Invasion.
That is supposed to be early 2023. It comes out, and this is it's supposed to be after Endgame.
Okay, so it's okay. So I see. So it's going to be the Skrull and the Kree are going to be coming back or something to try to take over Earth. I think maybe is that.
I think it's mainly the Skrulls.
Okay. I was just trying to get an idea of what, because like I say, I'm not as familiar with all the.
And I can't remember what Marvel movie it was that had an end credit scene where was it one of the Spider-Man movies where Nick Fury was in space and he was like they show him just chilling out in the ship. Was it one of the Spider-Man movies?
Yeah,
because I think it's supposed to take place. Oh, okay, I think it's supposed to take place after that, or is that after? Or maybe it is after Endgame, but he's been in space that long.
Well, don't forget at the end of I think it was Captain Marvel. There I go echo again. It showed him up in the.
Yeah, maybe that's what I'm thinking of. Captain Marvel, it was where him and where Nick Fury and Hill both change into Skrulls, and then they show Nick Fury up in space. That was Captain Marvel.
No, actually, that was Spider-Man: Far From Home.
Oh, okay. So yeah, I'm all confused.
Yeah, Spider-Man: Far From Home. No, showing him up in the ship, I think, was actually Endgame. It was the end of not Endgame, but Infinity War, or one of the ones around that time frame. It wasn't Captain Marvel because that was before Endgame.
Right.
So it had to be one of the ones after Endgame. So it was either I don't think it was
because the Spider-Man with Mysterio that came out after Endgame, right?
Correct. Yeah. So right around that time frame, one of the movies that was in that time frame that showed Nick Fury up top and being on the ship with basically saying, "Oh, we're going to be seeing Secret Invasion eventually." So yeah, but yeah, definitely. All right. How about you, Bobby? Your thoughts on that? Have you seen both the trailers yet for Secret Invasion?
I have seen both the trailers for them, but I watched them I think the day that they were released on at D23. So I don't really remember them all that well. I do remember the Secret Invasion one. I guess this is where Emilia Clarke is showing up. Daenerys from Game of Thrones. I'm not sure what character she plays, but from the vibe I was getting from Secret Invasion, it's going to be like a kind of like a espionage kind of spy sort of story, I guess, because with the Skrulls infiltrating. But I'm looking forward to both. And if I'm not mistaken, Werewolf by Night, that's like a Halloween special, right?
Correct. It is just this special. It's not a miniseries.
Okay. But yeah, it looked like it had a pretty unique kind of Rob Zombie type of sort of cheesy feel to it a little bit. Maybe even a little bit of an influence from like the Splatterhouse movies, sort of that whole vibe to it. But yeah, I'm looking forward to both of them.
It actually, they said in several articles now that basically they were trying to do a 20s, 30s vibe for it that was similar to, the original Dracula, Frankenstein, the Mummy. And
like Bela Lugosi.
Yeah, that's what they're trying to go for.
Todd Browning type vibe to it.
Nice.
Yeah. All right, Jeff, you have not seen either of these trailers?
I have not. I've been waiting. Just because, honestly, my daughter's been here, and then I haven't been feeling all that well. Cyber knows I haven't been feeling all that well. You do too, Bobby. You do that too, Renee. I've been having doing better, but, been having kind of a hard time, not feeling all that motivated. I've been, plus I've been waiting too, because I told Bobby forever ago that either him and I, or you and me and Bobby, Cyber or whatever, we would get together and we would do a trailer reaction to Secret Invasion. And I just never really got back to you guys and put it together. So I've been just kind of putting it off. Now, as far as the Werewolf by Night trailer goes, somebody told me the other day that it came out and I forgot. So until J-Rap mentioned it, I had not even remembered. I did not even realize that it was out.
Well, that day there was a lot of trailers that came out that day, so it was easy to miss at least one of them.
Yeah, plus then there's my entire my all the time I've got to put in at Phoenix University taking my classes for the Tuscan translating job. You know what I'm saying? It's tough, man. My schedule can be tough sometimes. Honestly, as far as Secret Invasion goes, as far as Amelia Clark goes, she's playing Abigail Brand, who essentially from the comics was born and raised on the planet Axis, and is to an extraterrestrial father, a woman from Earth, from whom she inherited the X gene. So she's a mutant. She essentially she becomes a special agent of the United States government working for SWORD, a subdivision of SHIELD. So she's going to work for SWORD. She's probably going to be working for Nick Fury under Nick Fury on SWORD.
Well,
and that's
SWORD. But they were the ones in WandaVision, right? They were the ones who were trying to infiltrate, trying to get Vision's body.
Well, to some extent, yes, they are. But I believe they're the platform in space where Nick Fury's at and whatnot. Spider-Man 2 is also SWORD, also to some extent. I think that's also some part of SWORD or SHIELD or something. I forget how they're doing it, but
from what I understand, it's like SHIELD doesn't exist anymore, and now
it doesn't.
Now it's SWORD is like the primary, sort of like same type of organization.
Yes, and I'm actually wondering if maybe if maybe Sharon Carter, now that she's back in play and she's working for the government again and whatnot, like I'm wondering if she might end up playing in some direction and tying in some way, like filling that void.
Yeah, you know that would be a good spot for her to show up.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they end up. Go ahead, Renee.
They already have. I mean, just point blank brought out CIA, which
yes,
are not a phony but a real organization. And so maybe they're bringing that more to the front. FBI and all that. Having these people come in and helping the Avengers and whatever.
Well, we've had the CIA in before. What's his name from Black Panther was was from the CIA, and Sharon Carter used to work for the CIA. So right, Cyber, isn't it? Yeah.
Talking about Martin Freeman.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yeah, he was he was the CIA guy. Yeah. So we've had the CIA in the MCU already and whatnot, kind of supporting, not the Avengers necessarily, but backing the superheroes. As far as Amelia Clark goes, I just think it's once again just real quick, just I think it's just a wonderful job. With Marvel, great, good of them to go ahead and grab these really talented actresses and actors and infuse them into the Marvel Cinematic Universe like that, and especially on these Disney Plus series, they can really use them. As far as I'm concerned, it just continues to show right there, just like how popular Marvel Studios is in terms of the fact that all these freaking actors and actresses coming off Game of Thrones, and Amelia Clark is pretty big. What you want to do? Go to Marvel Studios.
Yep. Awesome. And yes, back to Darius. He posted again in the comments. He said, hope you guys enjoy Werewolf by Night. Should set up Midnight Suns. Hoping for Blade cameo with this film coming next year. Most definitely. Hopefully we do get some sort of props to Blade in this upcoming. I mean, we already got that brief voiceover in the end of the Eternals. So hopefully we'll get something in Werewolf by Night. That'd be great to talk about Midnight Suns. I know that Midnight Suns is a big thing. A lot of people want to see it. I just don't know how close they are to doing that yet, especially because they haven't really picked Ghost Rider yet. But who knows? We could be close. You never know. And then he also mentions that the DODC is our new SHIELD. They are in She-Hulk also because they were in the trailers. Yes, DODC has been in Miss Marvel, has been in this, was in Spider-Man No Way Home. Definitely we're going to be seeing more of DODC, most definitely. It's going to be awesome.
So it's Damage Control?
Yes, damage Control.
Okay.
Yeah. We haven't seen Sword since WandaVision. Sword has not popped up since WandaVision. So I'm sure we'll see them again. I just don't know at what point. Maybe we'll get to see them in Thunderbolts. I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, that is most definitely that. But yeah, you have something to say, Jeff?
Just that, Darius, good call on the Midnight Suns, man. Cyber knows I love the Midnight Suns. I've been talking about it for a long time now. Him and I have had personal conversations about the Midnight Suns. I am excited as hell for the Midnight Suns. I don't know when we're going to get it either, or how it's going to come. Who's even going to be a part of it? How it's going to play out. I know it's not going to be the same as the comics. I just don't see it. It's not going to be exactly the same. But he's right. Cyber's right. until they flush out the whole Ghost Rider thing, like he's a massive aspect of the Midnight Suns. You can't have Midnight Suns without Ghost Rider. He's actually almost like at least in the comics, he was bigger than Blade as far as like his participation. You know what I'm saying? Like now in the MCU, it might be different. I don't know. We'll see how big Blade ends up turning out to be. I'm glad we're getting Blade too. He's an integral part of the Midnight Suns. You can't have Midnight Suns without Blade.
I'm actually afraid that they're going to have the Thunderbolts without Citizen V.
Well,
because he started the whole thing.
No, Bobby. Honestly, like I told you personally, I think that there's going to be a lot of other people in the Thunderbolts, man. They just don't want. I don't think they're going to show us all of them in one shot.
Yeah, but they've already kind of spoiled like the whole surprise that the Thunderbolts initially had in the comic stuff, because they were just basically villains disguised as heroes, and then on the last page they revealed their identities. But I mean, that's already off the table.
Yeah, that's Disney for you. They like to change things and alter them, put it to their how they like it and all that kind of stuff. So that's not surprising at all, but I'm sure they'll do a decent job. I'm sure we'll get something decent, and hopefully we'll get some more information to all those things as time goes on, especially with, several of these films coming out real soon within the next 2 years. So I'm sure that'll happen. All right, so that's the end of the episode, people. We want to thank you guys for all showing up, especially in the comments, of course. Thank you, Darius. Thank you, Facebook Dollface. Thank you, Jay Ren. Thank you, Jeff Bowman. Thank you, Jocelyn, for being in the comments tonight. And Booze and Chill, Mr. Raymond. Thank you for all being in there. So as we go around, we'll just let everyone shoot their stuff, what they got. Of course, also just want to say that another great podcast. If you enjoy us, definitely go check out Podcast Odyssey on Facebook. They are an amazing, fun show. Definitely go check them out. Next month, Facebook Dollface is going to be taking over the Podcast Odyssey and doing a October-themed vibe with the Podcast Odyssey. So definitely tune in for that and check her out. She's amazing. She's awesome. She's fun. She does live streams all the time, gaming on Fortnite. So definitely check her out. Of course, check out Jay Run too as well, who is main usually on the Podcast Odyssey, but not next month. She will be in charge of that. But yeah, if you enjoy my moderating on here, definitely go check out my solo content under Cyberneticshark as well. Facebook, YouTube, Rumble, BitChute, everywhere you can find that. Just look up Cyberneticshark. You'll find me. All my reviews and stuff are up there and all that kind of stuff. And of course, I have my awesome contest going on right now for the Face of Horror, where I'm currently in 3rd place, trying to get to that 2nd place spot. Hopefully within this round. We're on round 3 already of this contest, and you get a free vote every day. If you hook your Facebook up or a card, you get 2 extra votes a day, so definitely go do that. You also have an option of buying votes if you want. You don't have to, but it is an option, and definitely check that out and help a guy get to that 1st place spot, because I want to win that $13,000, that 2-day stay at Buffalo Bill's house, and that walk down road to an indie horror film directed by Jim, who is creating the Face of Horror contest, and that awesome shoot in Rogue magazine with Kane Hodder. So definitely check that out. So going around, of course, we have Loki's mom. Would you like to talk about your stuff, please?
Oh, not a lot going on, but over at anytime anyone wants to hop over to sarkar.forum.net. It's a great place to talk Marvel and also DC and Star Wars and other things, Star Trek, whatever you want to talk about. And there's a lot of great folks over there, and they run with the Grandmaster himself at Planet Sarkar, the Podcast of Champions, which we review basically all the Marvel product and also Star Wars and other fun things that are coming out. So yeah, check out the MCU Podcast of Champions.
Awesome, thank you. And of course, Mr. Bobby P. we have here, who's been a frequent guest here on our amazing show. Is there anything you like to talk about, sir, or plug?
Yeah, I'll be back here on Sunday, 7 p.m. Eastern. We'll be doing the discussion on House of the Dragon, episode 5, or are we on 4 or 5? I believe we're on 5. But it's getting really good. A lot of A lot of intrigue is happening, and we got another wedding that just turned into a shit show. So we're going to be talking about it on Sunday, 7 p.m. Eastern. So check that out if you're interested.
All right. Thank you, Bobby.
Those
Awesome. weddings
are
Yeah. Don't ever get invited to a wedding on Game of Thrones.
100%. Jeff, do you have anything else you'd like to conclude with before we send us off, Sir Jeff?
Hey, I think shout out to Bobby. Shout out to Bobby P doing such a great job as a guest for us and whatnot. Everything he's been really awesome for us and whatnot. He's been excellent on the he's been excellent on the House of the Dragon. He's really been been having our back on it and whatnot and everything and killing it. And we've had a blast doing those reviews. The series is getting better and better. And shout out to Cyberneticshark, who tolerates me even when I fucking show up and give like my F- fucking moderation game like I did on Wednesday night on our Lord of the Rings episode 3 review where I was essentially a joke. It was about one of my most pathetic fucking moderating jobs ever in my history of content creation. So, and Cyber didn't even bitch at me. He didn't even say a word. He just accepted it and fucking, I mean, we both knew what went down. You know what I'm saying? He didn't even fuck with me about it. So I got to give credit to Cyber for tolerating my bullshit. Sometimes I'm good, sometimes I'm bad. Just like one of our, our favorite fucking, we haven't played it in a long time, but one of our most favorite popular.
Sometimes it may be good, sometimes it may be shit.
There you go, baby. That's all I got. That's my plug right there. You never know. Except for the bedroom. When it comes to the ladies, there ain't none of that shit. It's all good, baby. You feel me? Except for when I purposely have erectile dysfunction.
All right. Awesome. Just another shout out to Darius before we leave. Thank you for coming into the comments, and thank you for saying that we're great, and thank you for subbing. You are awesome, and please tune in Sunday or next Wednesday or next Friday, and thank you for joining us. And that is it for this episode. We'll catch you next time.
DD Mega Doo-Doo. I'm sorry.
Okay, remember now, we're not here to judge anybody. We want to handle this with love, right? You want to tell him how his drug abuse has hurt you, maybe hurt himself. Okay, Harold, what time did you tell him to be here?
5 o'clock, but he's always late.
No, he'll be here. In 3, 2, 1.
Is this a 5 o'clock free crack giveaway?
It's going down.